Flag is down, the tape is back, and they're off and racing for the Download the Tote app Michaelmas Handicap Hurdle. It's over 1 mile, 7 furlongs, 171 yards, 8 flights of hurdles to jump, and a pretty short run to the first. My Place at Midnight was the leader, followed then on the inside by Fraser Island. Then on the outside, Constancio in the white and black colours, followed then by Wild Max in the mauve. Blacko's the grey horse on the inside. Then Jamacho in the orange colours, followed then by Matueka, who is towards the rear of the field at the moment. Also towards the back is Namib Dancer, and Roland Ward is right at the rear of the field. So they make the swing into the home straight, still obviously with well over a circuit to go. And it's My Place at Midnight in the sheepskin noseband who leads, making their way down towards flight number 2. My Place at Midnight to, in second position, Constancio in the hands of Brian Hughes. Then Fraser Island, the striped cap, and Wild Max and Jamacho, and then Blacko, followed then by Motueka and Namib Dancer, and Roland Ward is at the rear of a well-grouped up field as they make their way over that flight. They'll be coming past us in the next few strides before embarking on a further circuit of the track and another 1.5 miles or so still to run. My Place at Midnight, the leader, with Jack Quinlan aboard to Constancio, who does like to race relatively prominently and is so once again. Fraser Island on the inside in third, evoking memories of a good staying handicap chase of the same name from a good couple of decades ago now. Then Wild Max, followed then up the inside by Blacko, and then Jamacho, the orange colours towards the outside. Namib Dancer still towards the rear of the field, then Roland Ward. And Motueka is the one that's now just being driven along. The green colours there at the back of the field, suddenly really exercising the lungs there to stay in touch as they make their way down towards the far side of the track. There are 5 more flights of hurdles left to go, and it's My Place at Midnight who leads to Constancio, getting a nice trail into this in the hands of the champion jockey, then followed by Fraser Island, and then Wild Max and Blacko as they come to the next. My Place at Midnight didn't jump it very well, Constancio did. Motueka is detached at the rear of the field as they make their way down towards the next. And it's Constancio, who's now just about the leader, to the sheepskin nose-banded head of My Place at Midnight. Fraser Island's up the inside in third. Then Wild Max in fourth. Blacko, the grey, the striped sleeve, is up the inside of Jamacho as they take that one. Then followed by Roland Ward. And then Namib Dancer, and Motueka is really struggling and is a good 12 or 15 lengths off the rest of them. So they're making their way towards the end of the back straight. There are 3 more flights of hurdles left to jump here. My Place at Midnight. The jumping has just, well, not gone to pot, but it's not been particularly good last couple of flights. It's gone back through to take it up, though, in the hands of Jack Quinlan. Brian Hughes still breathing down his neck there aboard Constancio. Followed then by Wild Max, Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls there, looming nicely in third as well. Followed then by Blacko, being driven along now Fraser Island. Then on the outside, Namib Dancer is getting a little bit closer for a patient Aidan Coleman as they take the third last flight of hurdles. It's down the side of the track. They're making their way towards the final 3.5 furlongs or so, and it's Constancio that now goes on. Wild Max, though, looks poised in second, the black cap. My Place at Midnight is now being driven along, and Namib Dancer is ticking them off from the rear of the field, making the swing for home now. They're well inside the final 3 furlongs. Constancio, who's been towards the head of affairs at what looked a relatively slowly run race, but look at this Wild Max absolutely cruising in second. Constancio and Wild Max, rather unfortunate Cheltenham last time, has now eased alongside Constancio. Second last flight of hurdles, the pair of them just about landed as one. Namib Dancer, a faller there, when still in a reasonably good position. My Place at Midnight's trying to stay on, but Wild Max continues to go very strongly here. Constancio, though, hasn't given up and jumped that well, but it's Wild Max now let down by Cobden, goes on by a length or so to Constancio in second. These two followed then by Roland Ward, who's staying on from the back, but it's Wild Max. Constancio is battling back. Wild Max, Constancio as they go to the line. Wild Max just beats Constancio into second. Roland Ward was third. Fourth was My Place at Midnight.
Huntingdon doubles for Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls. Master Tommy Tucker scoring earlier, and that success supplemented by the 2-to-1 market leader Wild Max going in here in the feature handicap hurdle, seeing off a pretty plucky Constancio, who's made the winner fight all the way from the final flight. They pulled clear of Roland Ward, who shaped with some encouragement, I think, in third. My Place at Midnight back in fourth, and it looked a horrible and heavy fall, I'm afraid, for Namib Dancer. Hopefully Aidan Coleman is okay, and if we do get any news on Namib Dancer, we will bring it to you. But the favourite has won. He travelled well, Dave, and Constancio made him work hard to make sure.
He did, and they pulled, what, half a dozen lengths clear of the third horse here. on the home turn, Stuart, the body language of Harry Cobden was very confident, and in the end he's had to work quite hard for victory, but I think that's more down to the fact that Constancio has really stuck gamely to his task. Say they've motored clear. They're already about half a dozen lengths clear there, but I'd be inclined to give credit to the runner-up, because this was a tougher race than the one at Plumpton he won last time. The winner travelled like a horse who was ahead of his mark here, and of course he'll go up. You know, he travelled well, and then the first two have finished quite a way clear of the third. But under the circumstances, I think I'm trying to look to the future about what the handicapper might do with the winner, Wild Max, and I suspect that the way he travelled there, that there's quite a bit more of an upside to come.
Yes, I would agree. I think I would take a positive view of the form. I think there'll be more to come probably this season, or hopefully there'll be more to come from the third place Roland Ward. It was his first run since the end of January. Obviously the race to an extent marred by the heavy fall of Namib Dancer. A little bit disappointed perhaps with the finishing effort of Blacko, who didn't offer much of a threat really from the second last, having been in contention running down the side. Fraser Island, well, he's not progressing over hurdles at the moment. He was a useful flat performer, but having scored on his hurdling debut at